What's something that happened on a first date that made you decide against a second date? Story 1. Met a girl at a friend's party. We were both in our mid-20s. Ended up spending 3 hours talking, and she was so funny, charming, gorgeous, and carefree. I asked her out and got a wonderful "I would love to" from her. I show up about 4 days later at the restaurant she picked, one within walking distance of her place. She arrived about 5 minutes later. "Nice place," I say, as I get her chair for her. "Since it's so close, do you eat here often?" She scowls and responds, "You ask too many f***ing questions." I was floored. Everything continued downhill from there. Within about 20 minutes, she just got up and left. I felt as if she had failed to tell me the other night that she had an evil twin, and that's who showed up this evening. Later, when I ran into my buddy, I asked what the heck was up. "Oh yeah," he said, "she's a piece of work until she gets a few drinks in her. Then she's adorable." Thanks a lot, buddy. Story 2. One was the time I took this girl to dinner and she could not stop staring at our waiter. I'll grant her one thing, I'm a guy and can admit this guy was probably totally hot for anyone who prefers men. Square-jawed and muscled college athlete type. I get it. But I didn't appreciate that she literally craned her neck every time the kitchen door swung open to see if he was walking out. Eventually I gave her enough cash to pay for my part of the meal, told her I'd noticed, as though I couldn't have, suggested to her that she could get his contact info when she paid the bill, and left. Story 3. He got us pulled over, car was searched and he had a brick of coke in the trunk. I almost got arrested. He finally vouched this was a blind date and I was innocent. Story 4. He used his pocket knife to cut me a slice of cake, and later scraped some dirt clumps off of his shoe with the same knife. I asked him if he ever cleaned his knife, and he replied, "No, why?" He also confessed that he was madly in love with me the same day. We had just met. Story 5. I picked her up and she asked me if we could stop by her mom's house so she could run in and grab something. I said sure, made the stop. She went inside. 5 minutes later she comes out hustling towards the car with a car seat and her mom chasing after her yelling. She opens the car door and throws the car seat, which I now see has a baby in it, and starts yelling at me to drive. I freaked and just turned my car off and took the keys out of the ignition. Her mom called the cops and they came and questioned all of us for a good while. Turns out she had lost custody due to drug use and was trying to use me as a way to get her kid back. We never made it to dinner and I just went home after the cops left. Story 6. Went to dinner with a girl who I'd been crushing on for quite some time. It seemed to be going well, and we ended up back at her place, watching a movie or something. Out of nowhere, her boyfriend, of whom I was not aware, came back from out of town and stopped in unexpectedly. He and I had a super awkward conversation for a few minutes, then the two of them disappeared into another room for a minute or two. She came back, and said something to the effect of, "I don't have a place for you." I'm sorry. I just kind of got in my car and drove home, with one of the strangest feelings that I'd ever felt. At some point, a few minutes into the journey, I couldn't contain myself and busted out laughing. Story 7. The guy told me he would still be together with his kid's mom if she had apologized for what she did wrong. Out of curiosity I asked what she did wrong. Was expecting something like she cheated, something that actually needed apologizing for. Nope. Apparently she kept nagging one day and wouldn't shut up, so he tied her to a computer chair and went out for 3 hours and left her there. I said it doesn't sound like she was the one who needed to apologize and left. Story 8. He took it out. And I don't mean this in a funny, unexpected Seinfeld kind of way, although I suppose it is that. I mean he leaned across the table and whispered, "I'm out." I said, "Excuse me?" For some reason my first thought was, out of the closet. He said, "Out, under the table. Look under the table." And, like an idiot, I looked. Then he said, "That's what you do to me." I said, "This is what you do to me," and I left. I'm a people pleaser so, to this day, I'm proud of myself for walking away in the middle of dinner. Story 9. He tried to change my order with the waitress because I didn't order what he'd recommended. Please, give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to notifications for new incredible stories from Reddit.